Hey there, welcome to WMBF News This Week. I'm your host, Michael Maley. Today we are talking about everything that would impact you, whether it's the wages that you make in Horry County, how low they may be. You know that firsthand potentially, but we've got some numbers to back it up. Also, economic development. Sitting down with me today to talk about that as well as those wages are Doug Wendell, Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Director Chairman. Thanks for being with us, Doug.
Michael.
As well as Tom Rice, Horry County Council Chair. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Want to jump right into Horry County wages. This is some staggering stuff that you brought up to us months ago, the concern about Horry County and the wages and the numbers. I want to jump right into this and show you a story that a reporter, AJ Ross, had done back in January, and then we're going to break down those numbers. So here's the story to put it all in perspective, first of all, for you.
This coastal workforce center has been busy all afternoon, and workers here say a lot of people are coming in looking for second jobs. So when I asked people if they were surprised that Horry County ranks last in weekly pay, I got a resounding no.
No, nothing surprises me with South Carolina.
No, it don't. It don't surprise me.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
$520 a week. That's what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says is the average weekly pay for people here in Horry County. The Bureau looked at the largest 300 counties in the nation, and Horry County ranked dead last, even behind San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Excuse me.
Like a lot of people here in the Grand Strand, Veronica Jackson's paycheck banks on tourism. And when tourism is down, she feels it in her pockets.
And I've been here long enough to know I know to keep my money. I know how to save my money. And I put money up in the summertime. And that helps me live through the winter.
But not everyone is able to save like Jackson.
My paycheck is cut about 3/4, just about every week. And with the, Department Employment Security Commission, I'm barely even getting under $520 a week.
John McNair says he's thought about getting a second job to help pay the bills. He says he doesn't understand why it's so hard to find well-paying jobs in this area.
I can't quite understand why we have to be, Horry County's got to be ranked at the bottom of the barrel in the most tourist-activated area of the nation.
Sheila Daniels with the Coastal Workforce Center says the center offers a variety of jobs with all different types of pay. But she thinks Horry County will continue to rank low in wages until bigger companies come to the area.
If we could get some employers in here in the area that had, paid some higher wages, it would kind of make the ones that we already have, make them go up with their wages.
And workers here say until more seasonal jobs become available in March, they expect to stay busy. At the Coastal Workforce Center in Conway, I'm AJ Ross, WMBF News.
And joining me to talk about the low wages as well as economic development and bringing more companies, again, Doug Wendell as well as Tom Rice. Guys, let's first talk about Horry County specifically, and let's talk about the debt of Horry County and how the debt might play into the fact that wages are the lowest of South Carolina in Horry County.
Well, it's an interesting dichotomy because Horry County is, I like to call it the goose that laid the golden egg for the state of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. We are at the top of tax production for the state in almost every category. We're the top producer of accommodations taxes, of amusement taxes, of admissions taxes, hospitality taxes. We're 35% of those items. We're 5% of the state's population. We pay 11% of the tax of the sales taxes, and they take our money. Our money goes to Columbia, and then they have what they call a local government fund, where they distribute a small amount of it. As a percentage of what we send in, Horry County gets the lowest percentage back of any county in the state. Our money is used to build infrastructure, and in Charleston, Greenville, and Richland. And it's also used to incentivize companies. Like they paid hundreds of millions of dollars to incentivize BMW to come to Greenville.
Right.
Where'd that money come from? It came from our tax contributions. Right. They paid $1 billion in incentives to get Boeing to Charleston. Where'd that money come from? It came from Horry County. But coming back to the county debt, when it came time to build our roads, we pleaded for decades to get help from the state. We never could get it. So Highway 22 and 31 were built from Horry County's money. As a result of that, Horry County has the highest debt of any county in the state.
Because we're having to pay for those roads.
Because we're paying for the roads, because all our money is going to pay for everybody else's roads. Horry County's debt is I'm sorry.
Yeah, then let's show a picture too, if we can. Horry County's debt kind of ranks us among the top 10 counties in the state. Horry County's debt, $467,000. Is
million.
It right?
467
million. Excuse me. $476,395. A little hard to see there, but you can see Horry County at the top of your screen there with the highest total outstanding debt. And again, Tom, you're saying that's because we're having to put so much money into our infrastructure, into our roads, items like that.
Where the state provides so much more assistance to other counties with our money, we're having to pay for our own way to get our own roads. And you said that puts us among the top 10. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
We far outstrip the rest of the top 10.
Yeah.
At $467 million, we're #1 in debt in the state.
Wow.
The second place is just about half, and that's Charleston at $256 million.
Okay,
That's an astounding statistic.
And Doug, just your perspective, when you hear these numbers, being so involved in development and having done a lot of great things with your history in Myrtle Beach, is it discouraging, or do you still hold on to hope?
I always have hope. I mean, obviously, we have the right leadership on county council. We've got a great economic development corporation. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together in a very logical, systematic manner. When big industries start to come to South Carolina, where's the first place they stop? Department of Commerce.
Right.
Then Department of Commerce sends them on down to NESA, the Northeastern Strategic Alliance, 9 counties, which we're a member of.
Sure.
Horry County needs to tell those 2 entities exactly what we want. And it's up to them to create the leads in conjunction with us and for us to close it, and that's what we're doing. Since the chairman convinced me and Billy Alford to head up the Economic Development Corporation, we've had 5 or 6 major corporations been referred to us. And we're very close to landing a couple of them. So it's all about working the system. And that's what Tom's talking about here too when it comes to debt, when it comes to us building our own roads.
Right.
It's political muscle, political influence. And we need to establish that. We need to hold our elected officials going to Columbia accountable for getting our fair share.
To make it happen.
It's all about friendships, relationships, and politics. That's the bottom line.
And let me say one thing.
Sure.
In the short time I've been in this office, we've got a number of initiatives working. But the main thing that I've accomplished already is getting people like Doug Wendell and people like Billy Alford involved in this process. This community is pulling together like in my lifetime. I don't know it's ever pulled together like this. We're going to speak with one voice, and we're going to cure some of these problems that we've had in the past.
I think Tom really hit it, Michael. And that is, we've got to build consensus first here. We're updating our strategic plan. Part of that update is to go outside and ask people what they're thinking. What's the perspective of Horry County?
Sure.
What do they think when they talk about, and I'm talking about people from the state, to the region, to the local. And what we're hearing is the fact we're our own worst enemy, that we don't have consensus. When people think about us, they're not too sure who's leading the pack.
Internal dissension.
Internal dissension instead of building consensus, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that strategic plan, we're going to bring the entire community and all the municipalities, all the leadership, and we're going to sit down, we're going to say, here's our plan now. We all need to get behind this and make it work for creating new jobs.
And we're going to talk about that plan and some of the pieces that are coming into place to make that happen in growth in the Grand Strand and along Horry County. That's coming up right after the break. Hey there, welcome back to WMBF News This Week. We're talking about economic development in the Grand Strand and Horry County, and specifically unemployment and the wages that you earn at home and how that all plays together. Joining me to talk about this very serious topic, of course, is Doug Wendell, Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Director, as well as Tom Rice. Thanks for being here, Horry County Chairman. We're talking about the wages. Horry County's wages among the lowest in the state, larger than that. We've got some numbers to put in perspective for you. The lowest average weekly wage reported in Horry County, $584 followed by counties of Cameron, Texas, and
Hidalgo, Texas, Webb, Texas, and Yakima, Washington.
Okay, so
this is a report done by the Department of Labor. They look at every county in the country that has at least 75,000 people working. There are 334 of those counties, 6 of them are in South Carolina. Wow. Out of all those 334 counties, Horry County was dead last in the country. That is an amazing, embarrassing, shocking statistic to me. And when you look at these other counties that are in that bottom 5, it's Texas, Washington. It's not a South Carolina problem. Right. It's not a Southeast problem. It's an Horry County problem.
And again, if you're looking at on your screen, I realize it's a little bit difficult to see, but look towards the bottom of your screen there. There it is in red. The lowest average weekly wage reported right here in Horry County, $584. Is it possible that some of that is because we have such a tourist-based occupation here? Many people are making tips. Their hourly wages may be a little bit less. We're not necessarily seeing all of their tips that they're reporting. Not that it makes this any less severe, but
I don't think it's possible. I think that's an absolute fact.
Right.
That we are a one-dimensional economy, and this is the result of it. Tourism is our economic engine, and it's going to remain that way.
Sure.
And not only do we have to protect it, we've got to continue to grow it.
Right.
But we also have to diversify. We have to bring in industry with higher paying jobs. And the thing I'm most excited about is our Economic Development Corporation, under the leadership of Doug Wendell, is a dynamic entity. And we're in 3 months that I've been on this job, we're already making great inroads, and we're going to see some results.
Okay, and Doug, let me ask you this then. We realize that we're going to be a tourist economy, but can we be something different than that? Can we maybe not compete with the Spartanburg, South Carolina, but can we maybe get more industry here? Is there room for growth along that domain?
I think you hit it in the nose. We need to look at our strongest attributes. And what does that mean for the type of industries that we can identify, we can go after? We don't need to chase every rabbit, because every rabbit we can't catch. But we need to identify the most important, significant opportunities that we can go after, set them as a priority, and then work with NISA, work with the Department of Commerce and our own EDC and the County Council and the municipalities, and everybody get behind those and go after those industries. We can recruit them, we are going to recruit them, and it is going to make a significant difference.
Let's take a look at the plan, Tom, that you've been talking about, the plan here to restructure Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Corporation. Talk about what this is. There's a look for you at home. This is an outline that you've kind of put together to make this happen. We've already talked about, Doug, some of the things that are in place. Kind of give us the rundown. What's happening here?
Well, we've talked about where we are, and dead last is not a good place to be. Nobody likes that. And we have so many resources, we can do better. And what I've got here is 3 big parts of a plan that has a lot of parts. But the 3 biggest are restructuring the Myrtle Beach Economic Development Corporation. We've had this entity in some form for 20 years, and it's had very little success. And so what we're trying to do is change that, and we already have. Step 1 is to put the right people at the top. You're sitting here looking at Doug Wendell. This man has a proven track record of success. He will not accept mediocrity, and we're moving forward. Get the right director. We just hired a young man named Brad Lofton. It's been in the papers. This man is a proven closer. We interviewed through the Department of Commerce and on our own over 200 people, and his name came floating to the top. It didn't float to the top, it shot to the top. This man has brought thousands of jobs where he has worked, and we're very confident he's going to be a huge part of the machinery of this Economic Development Corporation. The last thing is to broaden participation. When Doug got involved, he said, the community has got to get behind this. And so when they had the Economic Development Corporation set up to have 15 directors, he said 35 directors. And then he went back and he said 50 directors. We've got a wonderful board of utilities, municipalities, private industry, the county council, and others that are all excited and participating in this. So that's part 1, is the Economic Development Corporation. Step number 2 is to increase county council's focus on economic development. You know, when times are good and the accommodations taxes are flowing in and the deed revenues are flowing in and the budget's overflowing, it's easy to overlook economic development. You don't feel like you need it. Everybody's busy, even though they're making low wages. Everybody's busy. Now is the time for us to focus on this. Now is the time for us to put pre-approved packages in place that we can offer incentives to entities that are going to bring the right amount of jobs and the appropriate type of jobs in here, so that we're going to make it easy for business to come here.
Sure.
We got a lot of attributes we can sell. And then the final piece of that cog, the biggest piece, is working on getting I-73 started and in here.
And there we go, I-73. Let's talk about this. This is the elephant in the room. 14 million visitors or so per year. The Chamber says 90%, as you're taking a look there on your screen, 90% of them drive. 75% come from I-95. We're the only national tourist destination in the top 10 not served by an interstate. And you know, Doug, you had just said a little bit before, the cohesion right here to make things happen. What else, if anything, do you think it's going to take to get funding to make this a reality?
Well, we've got to invest in product too. And I know you're going to be talking about that because County Council has made a significant investment in Myrtle Beach ITAP, the Aeronautic and Technology Park out at the airport. That could mean several thousand jobs. It should come online in September, later part of this year. We're working on a marine park, which what we're talking about is unique product. We talked about what are our attributes. There's nothing like this ITAP anywhere along the East Coast. So we ought to be able to fill those and generate a lot of jobs. There's no deep water marine park the nature we're talking about where you could have a barge the size of 2 football fields dock in there. Right. So you could have heavy industry there, put it on the barge, move it to the ports, move it on out around the world. That's very unique product. We need those kind of products in order to differentiate us from all the other areas that want the same jobs. And we're doing that. And we've got to continue to invest in economic development if we hope to make a change in these figures.
Right.
And keep in mind the ITAP park is only 90 miles north of the Boeing plant.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Right around the corner. We're going to talk about the ITAP park. We're going to talk about a couple of the eyesores that are out there and some proposed ideas, or at least some discussions about what could happen along the Grand Strand. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back to WMBF News This Week. We're talking about economic development here in the Grand Strand. One thing we were talking about is I-73. Hard not to talk about that. And joining me to talk about that are Doug Wendell of Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Chair, as well as Tom Rice, Horry County Council Chair. All right, first of all, I-73 making it happen, we already know it's the money issue. We already know how critical it is to bring these 14 million tourists here and even more. We talked about working together at the local levels and the state levels and the federal levels. What else?
Well, I thought it was really fascinating when Eric Cantor, the majority leader for the House of Representatives of the United States, flew in here, and we had a talk with him about I-73 and the fact that we have 14 million people coming in here every summer. 90% of them drive, 75% come from the I-95 corridor, and we don't have an interstate. Sure. We're the only tourist destination in the top 10 in the country that is not served by an interstate. He was flabbergasted. He was surprised. He didn't know. And when you talk to people about these facts, it's just an amazing thing that this doesn't exist already. And then when you look at going back to the debt, you know, Horry County has begged for roads for decades. We built our own interstate. We built Highway 22 is I-73. Sure. We've built it as far as we can out to the county line. All we need, you know, it'd be wonderful to see I-73 built all the way to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and pull tourists all the way down from Michigan. But really all we need, we'll get 90% of the benefit if we get 45 miles from where 22 ends to the intersection of 95 Atlanta. Yeah. 45 miles. That is going to cost a fraction of the cost of building that entire interstate. And the state, you know, the Chamber of Commerce has done surveys. The biggest problem we've got, according to our visitors, is access and traffic. The Chamber of Commerce's surveys, their figures will pick up 15 to 25% more tourists when that interstate is built. It'll cut tremendous amounts of time driving into this town.
Build it, they will come. Let's talk about Myrtle Beach International Technology and Aerospace Park, 460-acre master plan unit development. Who wants to give us the status on where this is and what it's going to take to make it happen?
Why don't you do that one, Doug?
Well, it's under construction now. It should come on to reality somewhere around September, October, November of this year. Once filled up, it should generate about 3,000 jobs. Cost us about $5 million for infrastructure. It's unique. with the runway associated with these prime aerospace and technology locations, we should be able to fill that up in a rapid fashion, and it's going to have a dramatic positive impact on jobs and economic development in Horry County. And as the chairman pointed out, it's right down the road from Boeing.
Right.
So we should be able to attract some suppliers to that park that would provide Boeing with supplies and materials.
And as we take a look there, literally 460-acre master plan unit development owned and developed by Horry County. You mentioned the location. This is huge for us. And timeline, are we looking at years and years? What do you think?
To fill it up?
Yeah.
I would think it'll take 5 years. Maybe a little longer than that. A lot depends on the economy.
Yep.
But the fact that it is unique, we should be able to rapidly start generating people to occupy that. We already have some people who are interested, and we have the people out there right now are expanding. So I think very, very positive.
I want to throw something out there really quick. There's been some discussion in the legislative levels about gambling along the Grand Strand. Of course, we have the casinos in Little River. Your thoughts, either way, pros and cons of that type of industry and bringing some money here into the Grand Strand?
My gut instinct would be against that.
Yeah.
I think that you can chase dollars to a point that the return just isn't worth it, and I think that would be bad for the Grand Strand personally.
Doug?
I think it's in total conflict with the image we're trying to build, and that's family, resort, recreation, vacations. And all gambling does is suck the air out of a community. And that's the nose under the camel. I mean, nose under the tent. The video poker itself feeds off the poor, if you look at who utilizes those. It is some entertainment, but it's pretty much the poor who utilizes those and take advantage of them. So I think it'd be negative for the community. I think it'd be negative for the nature of the environment we have, and negative for our families.
Interesting perspective. Just to throw the other perspective out there for you, for people who say more conventions might come, they might look at it as entertainment as they do when they go to Vegas. Could that be enough of a bonus, or again, you think it might hit our poor or even us harder?
I don't think we need to do that. Yeah. I think if we build a national, international convention for several million square feet like Orlando, we can become a top 10 destination that would allow people to come here for wholesome activities.
Sure.
Fill the rooms in the wintertime, which means year-round employment for all these. You want to talk about something positive to push up wages and to push up income for a family? That will do it, and all the profits that would be generated during that winter season all floats to the top. It's cream, it's profits for reinvestment in enhancement and improvement of the greater Grand Strand community.
Let's talk about the pavilion spot right now that's been vacant. I know when you were with Burroughs and Chapin, you had some ideas about making it happen. We can't decide what will happen, but does something need to happen there, the pavilion spot along the ocean?
We got several great locations. Pavilion is a great location, Myrtle Beach Square Mall, and where the old Hard Rock Park is. Those are all three great locations. I think until the economy improves, until financing becomes available, until people have a comfort level that it's the time to reinvest again, I think they're going to remain idle. But highest and best use, unbelievable opportunities there for economic development.
Right, and just looking at the pavilion lot, I mean, can you imagine what would go there right there? A gorgeous lot. Right now, that's about what we get. This is the slide that's leased out over the summer months, but definitely some potential there. But again, the economy, you think, is going to be
it's huge. I mean,
that's
until that improves, financing becomes available, people feel comfortable about investing, and it's just not going to, big opportunities like that aren't going to become reality.
And we talked about, of course, Freestyle or Hard Rock Park, then Freestyle Park, what to do now, and maybe nothing we can do now until someone comes in and says we want to buy.
The way I look at that, that's product for economic development. We have to have product for companies to be willing to come in here and invest, and that's just more product for us. And we do have a lot to offer. We're one of the fastest growing places in the country year after year. That's because it's a great place to live. We got Coastal Carolina University. We've got Horry Georgetown Tech to provide a trained workforce. This community has a lot to offer, and we're going to have success in economic development.
And we're taking a live look now at Freestyle Music Park, which is now closed. Some people say such a frustration, all this potential and the jobs Is there any hope that an investor could come in and make that happen? And again, I guess until the economy turns, Doug, it might take time.
Well, it's tough to have a major investment like that. I guess this will be the third owner.
Yeah.
If it's cheap enough and they can afford to, but it's hard to put the people through a park like that in the summer months to make it profitable. It's hard to get people off the beach to go there and spend a day. If you're coming down here, where are you going to go? You're going to spend a day in an amusement park, you're going to spend your day at the beach or some of the other facilities. Sure. It's a very difficult thing to make an amusement park in this location. Orlando is not located on the beach. That'll tell you something.
Right.
I'm talking about Disney World.
Sure.
It's located inland.
Yep.
You can't. It's very difficult to compete with the beach.
It is difficult to compete, and it's difficult when our wages are low in Horry County, but these two gentlemen are working hard to shift the momentum, and if you want to get involved with Horry County and the Myrtle Beach Economic Development Corporation. Lots more. Stay tuned for that. For now, have a good weekend.